Hi City Church. This morning I want to recommend that you go through Romans 8. It's a pretty good chapter, so I'm going to read you pieces of it today, but I just recommend that after you watch this video, you go through and read the whole chapter, maybe the whole book of Romans, it's up to you. In the last couple months, I've been pretty hyper aware of death. Because of the coronavirus. Everybody is just more worried about potentially dying before they expected to, and it's been pretty scary. And then I also, on top of that, work for Partners International, and our whole goal is sharing the gospel with people who most likely have never heard the gospel. According to statistics by Joshua Project, there's about 3 billion people in this world that have never heard the gospel. And as of this weekend, one of my friends, their mother died. And so just this weekend, it's been really heavy on my heart. The idea of not hearing the gospel and dying. And my friend's mother most likely did know Jesus, and so we are praying that she is in heaven. Besides that, I've just been thinking a lot about the idea of dying without knowing Jesus, and that's just been really heavy on my heart, but I found some peace and resonated when reading Romans 8, so I'm just going to read 17 through, I think, 25. We'll see. It says, "Now if we are children, then we are heirs, heirs of God and co-heirs with Christ, if indeed we share in his sufferings, in order that we may share in his glory. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed to us. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. For the creation was subject to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves who have first fruits of the Spirit groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for the adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies. For in this we hope we are saved, but hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what they already have? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. For he searches our hearts and knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God. And we know that all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." I read past where I was going to read to. Read chapter 8, Romans 8, all of it. I've just read 17 through 28. But it just gives me peace knowing that God already knew the earth was going to have turmoil, and that our bodies were going to groan for heaven and God and his Spirit, and just knowing that this isn't our place. And that just reminds my heart to be so much more eager about spreading the gospel. Because if there are people out there that don't have the hope of heaven and Jesus, and they're sitting in this earth watching people die and hardships happening and just utter chaos from day to day, that just breaks my heart. I don't know how to explain the sadness that I've just had thinking about the possibility of people not going to heaven, and it's just overwhelming the more I think about it. And it just makes me so eager to want to do better at sharing the gospel with my neighbors, people across the world, long lost family member that has walked away from Christ, whatever. So that is what I challenge you guys with. I challenge you guys to read Romans 8 or whatever God puts on your heart, and just know that God works things for good, and earth is temporary, and don't just wait until it's time for you to get out of earth. Take advantage of this time to make sure other people will be going to heaven also.